Hi guys, it's the old man calling. I wonder how many of you would say that your life's ordinary, and how many the rest of you would say that you're living an extraordinary life. Because I've noticed this tendency, a lot of people seem to think that they can't expect to have an extraordinary life because they're so busy dealing with the problems they've got to deal with just to get through today, or because they've got it all within a box, they need to save up. Obviously, you need to save up before they can do something extraordinary, whatever's planned, or at least have enough money coming in, or need to sort themselves out. I get this sense that a lot of people feel that they have to sort themselves out before they could ever shift from having an ordinary life to having an extraordinary life. And then I guess there are those of you who would be inclined to say, well, it's easy for you to say, middle class, white male. It would be different if you were in my shoes. So that's my sense, is that a lot of people have given up for the time being, on the possibility of living an extraordinary life, or they're doing whatever they think they need to do, saving or whatever they need to do, dealing with problems and difficult situations before they're ready to make that shift into find the space in their lives to live an extraordinary life. So, as you'll know, if you've seen any of my Old Man Calling videos before, I show people what I'm doing on these videos is showing people a simple shift of awareness into aware consciousness. And the thing about that shift of awareness, which, by the way, doesn't cost anything, and it's actually not a lot of effort at all, as I'll show you in a minute, is that every time you do this shift of awareness, it shifts you out of your ordinary life and into an extraordinary life, just like that, right? So that's what this is about. So what it says, this shift of awareness into aware consciousness, is you don't need to sort yourself out, or you don't need any particular amount of money, or to have anything other than what you've got right now to live an extraordinary life. So if you practice this simple shift of awareness, which I'll show you now, you can shift every time you do it from the ordinary life you're living into an extraordinary life, just like that. Okay? And by the way, if you've done this exercise before, you might be interested to know that I've added an extra point at the end, which I think clarifies it. So it'd be interesting for you to come through the exercise and see what I've added on the end, which I think makes the whole thing a lot clearer. Okay, here we go. Where we start whenever we're dealing with aware consciousness is we start right where we are, right here, right now, and we look at what's going on right now. That's the place. If you're going to practice aware consciousness, if you're going to practice this shift of awareness, that's the place to start. Start off with what's going on right now. And in this approach to aware consciousness, what I'd like you to notice is that you and I are engaging with life conceptually. Sounds a bit off the wall, but this will turn out to be like a gateway to another way of engaging with life. So notice that you and I are engaging with life conceptually right now. By which, if you're wondering what I'm talking about, I mean, I'm talking, you're listening, you're understanding, I'm using a language, I'm using the English language, which is made up of words and ideas and concepts. And if you think about it, whenever you're thinking in words and ideas and concepts. So what I'm saying is, you and I are engaging with life conceptually. Do you get that? Words and ideas. This is a conceptual engagement with life. And it's a very common activity for us human beings. We spend most of the day, whenever we're thinking in words and ideas. Whenever we're thinking and speaking. Whenever we're interacting in any way with technology or in any other way, on screen or face-to-face, in person, human beings, including you and me, almost always engaging with life conceptually in this words and ideas format, way of engaging with each other in all our communications and our interactions. So that's the first thing to notice. And when you're saying, well, that's life, what else is there? That's so what I would say in terms of what we're talking about today, I would describe that as our ordinary, everyday engagement with life. It's not that life's not wonderful, but that's what we do most of the time. That's our ordinary way of living, isn't it? We think, we speak, we communicate, we interact with other human beings. And when we're not interacting with other beings, we're thinking. So most of the time, almost all the time, every day, you and I are engaging with life conceptually. And we call that real life. That's the way we engage with life. It's the way we communicate. So the point about aware consciousness is noticing that there's another way of engaging with life, which is not based on words and ideas, not based on concepts. So this is not a conceptual engagement with life. And this little shift of awareness to, which I'm going to point out to you now, is what takes you out of that ordinary world that we're in almost all the time, every day, and into an extraordinary realm, an extraordinary life every time you do it. So let me show you how to do it. If you've seen these videos before, you'll know that I have a traditional way of showing you how to do it. It's based on bring your attention to the sensation going on in your left hand. Okay, bring your attention to that sensation of touch going on in your left hand. Okay, if you manage to do that, you now know there are things in life that are nothing to do with words and ideas and concepts. That's nothing to do with words and ideas and concepts. It's a sensation going on in this hand. You're saying, big deal, it's a sensation. But bear with me. What I'm saying is this is a gateway, that sensation. We bring our attention into the moment, come back to that sensation going on in your hand right now. And then the next thing is give up control. Give up control. Stay in the moment. Focus on that sensation. Then give up control. See what happens. And what happens for me, and I'm pretty confident it'll happen for you too, is that now, if you stay in the moment, what happens is that consciousness takes over and draws your attention to one sense moment, that sensation happening right now, a sense moment, from one sense moment to another, to another, to another. Give up control, just keep your attention in the moment and observe. What happens is that consciousness doesn't stop. You might have stopped moving, but consciousness continues to draw your attention around from one sense moment to another, to another, to another. So, for instance, for me, I become aware of this elbow resting on the arm here, and then my back resting against this chair, and my hand sitting on my leg here, and my knee resting on my other knee, and my foot resting on the floor, back of my knee against the chair. So consciousness, if I just keep my attention in the moment, give up control. This is not me controlling this. This is consciousness shifting my attention around from one sense moment to another, to another, to another. Did you have that experience? Now, if we bring our attention out to include all of our senses, we might become aware of different sense moments. I might become aware of what I'm looking at for a moment, and then the sound of the world right now. Then my attention, consciousness has brought my attention back to this elbow and then to this hand on this knee, and I might taste the inside of my mouth, may smell something. So what's happening is I've focused in on a sense moment, and then I've given up control, and I've noticed, this is becoming aware of, consciousness, this is aware consciousness. Become aware of consciousness, shifting my attention around from one sense moment to another, to another. What I see, hear, touching, taste in my mouth, see. So the interesting thing about that is that it's not just a meditative awareness exercise we're doing here. If you've noticed, that's nothing to do with words and ideas and concepts. So it's nothing to do with, it's an entirely different way of engaging with life, other than that conceptual way of life that you and I engage with life most of the time. That's what we're doing right now, yeah? But we can shift our attention, and we don't have to shift our attention to our left hand. Consciousness doesn't stop, so we can shift our attention any time of the day or night, any time, very simply, just like that. Shift your attention into whatever sense moment consciousness draws your attention to right now. Then give up control and observe, watch, stay in the moment, and observe as consciousness shift your attention around from one sense moment to another. Okay. Now, a couple of things about that that I usually add here, significant things about it. First, perhaps we should deal with our ordinary lives and the way they tend to kick back in. So in our everyday lives, when we're engaging with life conceptually, and we're driven by our minds, and our minds, that's a way that we're used to engaging with life. We've always engaged with life that way. That's the way we learn to engage with life. So what tends to happen is that even though that's a very simple shift of awareness, I've just shown you into aware consciousness, becoming aware of consciousness, just in the moment, allow consciousness to move our attention around one sense moment, now, one sense moment to another, to another, to another. Although that's a simple shift of awareness, out of that conceptual engagement with life and into an experiential engagement with life. We're focusing in on our experience of being right here, right now. So this is us living in the moment, focused on the experience of being right here, right now. Okay, and it's It's not you controlling it, it's consciousness. So let's deal with the way that our minds tend to kick back in. Maybe for some of you, your everyday thinking has already kicked back in. And that happens for all of us. This is the way that we know how to engage with life is this conceptual way of engaging with life with words and ideas, concepts. So however easy that shift of awareness is, it turns out to be difficult for us to stay focused in the moment now in that way, because our everyday way of engaging with life comes back in, and so we need a way of dealing with that. So the first thing that I want to add to that simple shift of awareness is that we need to have a way of dealing with our everyday mind when it kicks back in. And the way we deal with our everyday mind when it kicks back in is that we notice it. This is awareness. Yeah. So here we are living in aware consciousness, this flow of sense moments, and we notice when our everyday mind kicks back in. And what we do is we choose in that moment when we notice it, without making a fuss, without arguing with ourselves, we just choose to shift our awareness back into aware consciousness. So we shift our awareness to whatever sense moment consciousness brings our attention to. We give up control and we find ourselves right back living in the moment and experiencing being, this realm of being. Okay, and that's how we deal with our everyday mind. So in our in our normal way of engaging with life, we tend to dwell on what our mind's saying. We engage with it, and we, get involved in what we're thinking, or we get involved in whatever stories we think are going on in life. And that I don't need to tell you about that. You already know, how you generally engage with life. This aware consciousness is quite a different way of engaging with life. So when your mind kicks in, it will kick back in, because that's the way we know how to engage with life. What we do is we choose not to dwell on what's going on in here, not to live in our heads, but to shift our awareness back into consciousness, become aware of consciousness, whatever sense moment consciousness is bringing our attention to right now. Second point I always make at this point is notice. When you're living in aware consciousness, this realm of being, in a universe of being where everything without exception is being, this is quite a different dimension, isn't it? It's a different way of engaging with life. You disappear as a separate self. So how come? Well, let's just go back into aware consciousness. Aware consciousness, allow consciousness to bring your attention to a sense moment. Give up control and just observe as consciousness brings your attention to one sense moment, to another, what I'm seeing, what I'm touching, what I'm hearing, the sound of the world right now. Keep my attention in the moment. It's not difficult. Just stay focused in this moment. Taste of the inside of my mouth. Touch. You are not there as a separate self. This is in this realm, in this world. What's here is one moment at a time. Now, a flow of sense moments. So this is starting to be quite a distinct realm, because whereas in our everyday communication, I'm over here, you're over there, the world's out there, we're very, very familiar with our patterns and understanding of how life is, and that's revealed as a conventional view. In this realm, in the realm of aware consciousness, you're not there as a separate self. You disappeared. What's here is a realm of being. You're being in a universe of being. It's not your a being. You're not a separate self in this realm. It's not about you and me as separate beings. In this realm, you're being nothing more than being in a universe of being. And what I like to say to you is that that's the beginnings of living an extraordinary life. That if you can really get that right here, right now, when you're focused on consciousness, you disappear as a separate self. And incidentally, your ordinary life has disappeared as well, isn't it? It's still there in this everyday communication and the connection we have, the way that we think, and that's where our everyday life is. We have to deal with it. Practicing aware consciousness is not going to pay the bills, but what it will do is shift you immediately into this realm of being, which is essentially still whatever's going on in the world out there around us in our everyday lives. I'm over here, you're over there, the world's out there. In everyday life, whatever's going on, however noisy and disturbed and troubled that world, everyday world of yours might be, that ordinary life of yours might be, this extraordinary realm of presence is essentially still, essentially calm, essentially quiet, and essentially untroubled. So how extraordinary is that? And what that means is that you're able to, if you practice aware consciousness, and now here's the little bit that I wanted to add on. For those of you who've done these exercises before, let me add this on. When you're relax into being. The point now is not to be counting sense moments or even labeling them as sense moments. Just keep your attention in the present moment. That's quite simple, isn't it? There's nothing difficult about that. And then relax into being. So you relax into this realm of being. Be happy to disappear into this as a separate being, disappear all those separate troubled concerns of yours and challenges, disappear as a separate being, and just relax into this still, quiet, untroubled realm of being. Relax into being. And what that means, you can do that shift of awareness any time of the day or night. It's presence is always right here, right now. It's not going to go away. This is a real core experience for us human beings. We live, we experience life right here, right now. But we perhaps haven't been focused on that because we've been too caught up with our ordinary engagement with life. So what I'm showing you is an extraordinary engagement with life where you can be walking around or you can be sitting waiting to be dealt with in the benefits office, and when you're being there, life is extraordinary. It's an extraordinary experience. I'm not talking about your labeled stories about that and the problems you associate with that. I'm talking about shift your awareness into the present moment and relax into being. And when you relax into being, it's an extraordinary experience when you're doing the washing up, sweeping the floor, digging up weeds in the garden, having a cup of tea, every single moment. And when you relax into being, be right here, right now, focused on the experience of being. That's aware consciousness. Every single moment is extraordinary, full of wonder. Okay, So I've just showed you a way of shifting in out of your ordinary life and into extraordinary life, just through a shift of awareness that you can do any time of the day or night, whatever's going on in your everyday life. So you can be doing the most mundane things and caught up with the wonder, the extraordinary nature of presence, of being. Just relax into being. Relax into being. Every single moment is an extraordinary experience. Okay, guys, that's practicing aware consciousness. Now, in a little diversion, I've decided to give myself, I feel as if I've earned a rant. So in these videos, what I'm going to start doing is a little 5-minute rant, which connected with what I've been talking about. And it gives me a chance to, I feel as if I've earned the right to have a rant, because I've just shown you a way of shifting out of your ordinary life and into an extraordinary life any time of the day or night, whatever's going on in your everyday life. You don't have to wait until you've sorted things out before you can do this. You start right now living an extraordinary life, one moment at a time. Now. My rant's to do with marketing and promotion and adverts. I can't stand the way that modern life in this world we live in, that I'm surrounded every minute of every day, every second minute of every day, in marketing and promotion and adverts. On a personal level, I don't like it because it's like unnecessary noise, unnecessary distraction in a world where I prefer to live a quiet life. And I don't like the fact that it fills my life with stuff that I'm not interested in. And in a bigger context, looking at the bigger picture, I don't like this marketing-centered promotional approach to life, with its consumerism, encouraging consumerism and a commercial take on monetizing everything, because it's a debased premise that you need to have something special, you need to buy something, or you need to go somewhere special, or you need to do something special, or you need to own something special in order to have some sort of extraordinary life. And that leads lots and lots of people in society to go chasing money or fame or celebrity, or lots of people caught up in greed or envy or jealousy, all to do with this business of the idea that you need to have something before you can have an extraordinary life. And to me, that's a real debased sort of a debased idea, that the world would be better off if people really understood that they can shift their awareness into aware consciousness, and it's not going to cost them anything. You don't have to prepare life in any way, get yourself sorted out or anything. You are perfectly okay just the way you are. With a shift of awareness, you can shift into aware consciousness, and you can have an extraordinary life starting right now. Excuse me. In fact, there's no other place to start, is there? Who needs all this future-orientated dream, of the things that you're going to do in the future? Start right now. Live an extraordinary life starting right now. So that's it, guys. That's what practicing aware consciousness is all about. No need to wait. Start right now. You can live an extraordinary life when you're just relaxed into being every single moment is a wonder-filled, extraordinary experience. Right? Experience life. Don't buy it. Okay, guys, that's it. Don't forget to subscribe to The Old Man Calling and like, share, put a comment on this video, tell your friends about it. And above all, don't forget, every quiet moment, whenever you remember, do that shift of awareness, that simple shift of awareness. Allow consciousness to bring your attention to whatever sense moment consciousness brings your attention to. Give up control and find yourself in the extraordinary world of aware consciousness. Okay, guys, cheers, enjoy, bye.